It starts small. Maybe a strange tingling on one side of your face. Maybe your hand goes a little weak. You shake it off, thinking you just slept on it wrong. A few minutes later, everything seems fine again. You don't call anyone. You don't think it's serious. But what if I told you that moment was your only warning? What if I told you your brain was crying for help and you ignored it? There's something chilling about symptoms that disappear. They give you a false sense of security. You think, well, it passed. I must be okay. But sometimes, those fleeting signs are not harmless. Sometimes, they are your one and only chance to stop what's coming next. Let me ask you, if you suddenly couldn't move one arm, or if your words came out jumbled, would you wait to see if it goes away? Would you wait when every second could mean another memory lost, another part of you slipping away? In this video, we're going to talk about something that has taken far too many lives and left even more people struggling to walk, to speak, to remember. Something that does not care how old you are or how healthy you think you are, and something that often gives you just one brief signal before it strikes. You'll learn the signs, the real ones, not just what's in the textbooks. You'll learn what to do, what not to do, and how to protect yourself and your loved ones. Because in a stroke, every second matters. Time lost is brain lost. And that's not just a phrase. It's a reality you need to understand before it's too late. Let me tell you about 3 very real people. Their stories are different, but each one carries a warning, one that could save your life. First, there's Regina. She was 58, at a family gathering, laughing with her children. Out of nowhere, she felt a strange tingling in her face. Her daughter noticed her mouth didn't look quite right. It was drooping. Regina looked in the mirror and saw it too. They rushed her toward the hospital. But halfway there, the droop disappeared. The tingling stopped. She felt fine. Most people would have turned around. Regina didn't. Doctors did an MRI. No clear damage, but they admitted her overnight. The next morning, they confirmed it. She'd had a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, a warning shot. No permanent damage, this time. Now think about this. What if she hadn't gone? What if the next one came while she was asleep? Next is Hugo. He was 62, a lawyer working 2 jobs, carrying more stress than his heart could handle. He was overweight, diabetic. His blood pressure had been high for years, but he brushed it off. One night at 2 a.m., he felt the worst headache of his life. It pulsed behind his eyes like a drumbeat that wouldn't stop. He called his sister, a nurse. Then he collapsed. Hugo woke up 10 days later. 10 days. He was in the ICU, coming out of a medically induced coma. The doctors had operated. He couldn't remember what had happened. He couldn't even remember the last day he saw his children before the stroke hit. Now here's Jessica. She was just 32, healthy, had just given birth 4 days earlier. While holding her newborn daughter, she suddenly felt dizzy. Her legs weakened. When she tried to stand, she couldn't. Her husband noticed her speech was slurred, barely understandable. He didn't hesitate. He drove her straight to the emergency room. They ran a scan. They gave her clot-busting medication. Within minutes, Jessica's speech returned. Her strength came back. She could hold her daughter again. Why? Because they didn't wait. These 3 people had something in common. All of them had a stroke. One was lucky. One had a warning. One nearly died. What would you do if it were you? So what exactly is a stroke? At its core, A stroke happens when blood flow to part of your brain is suddenly interrupted. Your brain, like the rest of your body, needs oxygen, and it needs it constantly. When that supply is cut off, even for a few minutes, brain cells start to die. Think of it like this. Your heart may keep beating, but parts of your mind begin to vanish. That's why doctors say, time is brain. It's not just a catchy phrase. It's a hard truth. Every minute a stroke goes untreated, about 2 million brain cells die. That's memory, movement, speech, your ability to recognize faces, to feel emotion, to tell your spouse you love them. Can you imagine losing all that simply because you waited too long? 20 years ago, when someone showed up to the ER with stroke symptoms, our hands were tied. We would run a scan. If there was no bleeding, we'd give aspirin and hope for the best. But today, it's different. We have medications that can break up clots. We have procedures that can physically remove them. And we've seen miracles. People who couldn't speak or move one side of their body, walking and talking again just hours later. But those miracles only happen when the person gets to the hospital fast. So let me ask you, if your brain were shutting down, wouldn't you want every second on your side? Instead of hoping it gets better, wouldn't it be smarter to act fast and maybe save your future? The faster you recognize the signs and get help, the better your chances. You might save your ability to talk, to walk, to hold your grandchildren, to keep being you. Don't wait for symptoms to go away, because sometimes they don't. Time is brain, and every second counts. Let's get practical now. How do you know when a stroke is happening? The answer could save your life or someone else's. There's a powerful tool doctors and emergency responders use. It's called Be Fast, and once you learn it, you'll never forget it. B is for balance. Is the person suddenly unsteady? Are they stumbling or dizzy, like they just got off a spinning ride? E is for eyes. Is there a sudden change in vision, blurry sight, double vision, or even partial blindness in one or both eyes? F is for face. Ask them to smile. Does one side droop? Is it uneven? This is a classic red flag. A is for arms. Can they raise both arms, or does one arm drift down, weak and lifeless? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred or strange? Are their words jumbled or hard to understand? T is for time. If you notice any of these signs, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. Every second matters. But here's something important. Maybe the most important part of this whole video. Not all strokes look the same. You might expect the face droop, or the slurred words, but sometimes it's different, more subtle. And that's when people make the biggest mistake. They wait. Some folks feel a crushing headache that hits like lightning. Others get nauseous, dizzy, confused. They might feel numbness in just one hand, or their vision suddenly goes dark in one eye and comes back a minute later. And they think, that was weird, but I'm okay now. No, you might not be. That moment, when everything goes back to normal, could be your warning. Instead of thinking, I'll wait and see, think, I'm not taking chances. Instead of hoping it passes, act like your life depends on it. Because it might. Recognizing the signs quickly, even the subtle ones, can make all the difference. Because, again, time is brain. And sometimes, the brain doesn't give second chances. Now that you know what a stroke looks like, let's talk about what causes it. There are two major types of stroke, and understanding the difference could help you make smarter decisions in an emergency. The first and by far the most common, is called an ischemic stroke. It happens when a blood vessel that carries oxygen to your brain gets blocked, maybe by a clot, maybe by cholesterol buildup. Imagine a pipe that suddenly gets clogged. The water can't reach the faucet. Now imagine that pipe is in your brain. That faucet controls your speech, or your memory, or your ability to move. Without blood, brain cells start dying quickly. That's why doctors often use medications to break up the clot. Or they might perform a procedure to pull it out. But again, they can only do that if you get to the hospital in time. Now the second type is more dangerous and harder to treat. It's called a hemorrhagic stroke. That's when a blood vessel actually bursts, causing bleeding inside the brain. Picture a balloon that's been overinflated, one weak spot, and it pops. This kind of stroke usually leads to sudden collapse, a terrible headache, and in many cases, coma. It's less common, but often more deadly. And then there's something people tend to overlook: the TIA, or transient ischemic attack. Some call it a mini-stroke. But don't let the name fool you. A TIA is your body's alarm bell. It means a clot blocked blood flow for a few minutes, then cleared up. So symptoms disappear. You feel fine. But here's the trap. Many people ignore it. They think, well, I'm okay now. They go back to work. They go to sleep. And then the real stroke hits. Did you know that after a TIA, 1 in 3 people will have a major stroke within the next few days? That's not a guess. That's a statistic. So instead of thinking, crisis averted, you should be thinking, that was my warning. Now I need help. Because the truth is, TIAs are not small strokes. They are early strokes. And the smart response isn't relief. It's urgency. Get checked. Get scanned. Talk to your doctor. And find out what caused it before it happens again. Here's something that might surprise you. Strokes aren't just happening to people in their 70s or 80s anymore. More and more, they're striking people in their 40s, their 30s, even their 20s. Why is this happening? Because the very things that increase your risk, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, smoking, stress, aren't just problems for older folks anymore. We're seeing younger people carrying more weight, sitting longer, sleeping less, and living with stress levels that used to be unheard of. And what makes it worse? They think they're too young to worry about stroke. But the truth is, stroke doesn't check your birth year. It doesn't ask your age. It only asks, are your blood vessels healthy? Is your heart in rhythm? Is your blood pressure under control? If the answer is no, then you're at risk. I've seen it in my own clinic. People in their 30s who think they're invincible. Then one day, their face starts to droop. Their arm won't move. Their words don't come out right. And suddenly, everything changes. It's devastating. Not just for them, but for their families. Young parents unable to care for their kids. Young professionals who can't return to work. Young lives put on hold or forever changed. So let me ask you this. Would you rather spend 10 minutes getting a blood pressure check or 10 years trying to recover from a stroke? Would you rather go for a walk today or lose your ability to walk next year? That's the choice we're facing, not just at 60, but at 40 or even younger. And it's not about fear. It's about awareness, action, because strokes are hitting earlier. But so is the opportunity to stop them. And that starts with knowing the risks and doing something about them. Now, let's clear up some dangerous myths, things I've heard again and again from patients, friends, even other professionals. Misunderstandings that can cost people their lives. Myth number 1. If I am having a stroke, I should take an aspirin. No. This is one of the most common and most dangerous mistakes. Why? Because you don't know what kind of stroke it is. If it's ischemic, a clot, aspirin might help. But if it's hemorrhagic, a bleed, it can make things much worse. You could turn a treatable situation into a life-threatening one. Instead of reaching for pills, reach for the phone. Call 911. Get to a hospital where they can scan your brain and give the right treatment safely. Myth number 2. If the symptoms go away, I'm fine. Wrong. That might have been a TIA, a mini-stroke, and it's not harmless. It's a warning, a gift in some ways, a chance to act before a bigger stroke happens. So instead of saying, "Thank goodness that passed," ask yourself, why did that happen? Because when the body whispers, you listen, or you wait until it screams. Myth number 3. I didn't have a drooping face or slurred speech, so it couldn't have been a stroke. Strokes come in many forms. Yes, face droop and slurred speech are classic signs, but they're not the only ones. Sudden vision changes, trouble walking, dizziness, numbness, even confusion. These can all be signs. So instead of looking for one specific symptom, trust your gut. If something feels off, and especially if it comes on suddenly, act. Myth number 4. I live alone. What can I do? Living alone does make things harder, but it doesn't make you helpless. Here's what you can do. Keep your phone nearby, always. Set up a medical alert system if possible. Let neighbors or nearby family know you're at risk. Check in daily with someone, just a quick text or call. A stroke can silence you, but preparation can speak when you no longer can. Myth number 5. I feel healthy, so I don't need to worry. This one is personal. I've seen marathon runners have strokes. I've seen new mothers, like Jessica, lose their ability to speak. Feeling fine doesn't mean your arteries are clear. It doesn't mean your blood pressure is normal. Some risks are silent, until they're not. So instead of assuming you're safe, find out for sure. Get your numbers checked. Know your family history. Have that uncomfortable but essential conversation with your doctor. Because when it comes to stroke, what you don't know really can hurt you. So now we ask the most important question of all. What can you do, starting today, to lower your risk of stroke? It begins with one powerful truth. Most strokes are preventable. Not all, but most. And the steps you take now can make the difference between living with strength or living with regret. First, check your blood pressure. High blood pressure is the #1 cause of strokes, hands down. Yet millions of people walk around every day with dangerously high numbers. And no idea. So instead of assuming you're fine, get it checked. At a pharmacy, at your doctor's office, even at home with a monitor. Just know your numbers. And if it's high, don't ignore it. Don't say, "It runs in the family." Tackle it. With medication, with lifestyle changes, with a plan. Second, take care of your heart. Irregular heart rhythms, especially atrial fibrillation, can send clots straight to your brain. So, if you feel fluttering, racing, or skipping beats, talk to your doctor. Next, take a hard look at your blood sugar. Diabetes damages blood vessels quietly over time, and it makes strokes more likely and recovery more difficult. Control it. Monitor it. Don't let it drift. What about cholesterol? Too much LDL, bad cholesterol, clogs your arteries like sludge in an old pipe. Over time, that buildup can break loose, causing a stroke. So instead of waiting for a problem, prevent it. Eat more fiber. Cut the processed foods. Talk to your doctor about statins, if needed. And don't forget movement. You don't have to run marathons, but walking 30 minutes a day can change your life. It strengthens your heart, lowers your pressure, clears your mind. And one more thing, quit smoking. If you still smoke, I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to tell you the truth. Every cigarette narrows your blood vessels, makes your heart work harder, raises your stroke risk. Quitting is hard, but it's possible, and it's worth it. Because instead of lying in a hospital bed, unable to speak or hold a loved one's hand, you could be walking outside, breathing deeply, living your life. Stroke prevention isn't about fear. It's about freedom. The freedom to keep doing what you love. The freedom to stay independent. To stay present. To stay you. And the best time to start? Right now. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you. You've taken the time to learn something that could save your life, or someone else's. So now, let me ask you, who do you know that needs to hear this? A friend? A parent? A neighbor who lives alone? Don't wait. Share this video with them. Send it today, not tomorrow, because the next stroke could happen tonight. If just one person gets help faster because you shared this, it's worth it. And now I'd love to hear from you. Have you or someone you love ever experienced a stroke or a TIA? What signs did you see? What did you do? Type it in the comments. Your story could be the warning someone else needs to hear. And finally, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss a message that could change your health or your life. I'm Dr. Bill, and this is Dr. Dre Health Tips. I'll see you in the next one.